Hey, what's up, flooring family? Welcome to the Huddle. Come at you every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Central to discuss maintaining flooring
Forward
excellence,
progress.
actually forward progress in your flooring career. You'd think as many times as I said that I'd have it down by now,
It's because
but
you weren't here last week. That's why.
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I
I'm
forgot
losing
about that.
practice. Yeah, by the way, thank you guys for holding down the fort and doing such a great job as usual.
We do what we can, bro.
Well, we're here today to talk about flooring technologies or new technologies in flooring. Um, to distinguish a lot of the manufacturers in the flooring industry talk about technology from the um, their products, new technology for actual flooring products. What we're talking about is software, hardware, technology that will help us be better flooring companies, better flooring installers, and just have better success overall in the flooring industry. Really standing behind and pushing forward that forward progress. That let's get better. So I'm going to open by saying that I know preferred flooring up in Grand Rapids.
Uh oh.
You guys, kind of embrace technology at this point, but you had a time when you're like, I won't call you out, Jose. Oops. But your brother Daniel's probably a little more on the technical side.
No, that's 100% accurate, and I will still agree with that. Even though I am also using as much as I possibly can, I still agree that Daniel is the one pushing the envelope here. If he didn't say we need this or hey check this out, chances are I probably would never have looked at it. So yeah, Daniel is and it's amazing the difference between 6 years in age does for school. You know, I left school. I was getting done with school when technology hit him in high school, and he, like, this dude grew up with a laptop. Like, I don't type very fast still, right? Like, it shows. This dude sounds like he's mashing the
Chicken
buttons.
pecker.
Like,
I
dude,
I used to download the typing programs and make him do it at home. Like said, you gotta get
man,
better at
Well,
this.
I'm old enough that we had what do they call it? Keyboard class.
yeah,
So
keyboarding. That's what it was. Keyboarding.
See,
yeah.
you guys did keyboarding and then
Well,
I did computer class.
yes, we just got a keyboard, and that was new. Like it was typewriter before that. So that's showing my age a bit. Um, well, I know that one of the things, like you guys use big technology companies. I know you use Microsoft Teams and Microsoft that platform for doing a lot of your uh, um, communication and taking care of your. Uh, I know you use Go Carrera as well for like your work order systems and things like that. But you also have Teams that you use in scheduling and getting information to your crews, right?
Yes.
Like you guys look for technology. For those of you in the audience, sorry, that may not look for it, we're going to talk about a few. One being Go Carrera, the other being a product called Floor Cloud, and then Ballins knows best, man.
I can't wait for that one
We'll
to hit.
want to
Yeah.
bring him up with his technology. So to start out of the gate, most of the time that I've been involved with technology, and now I've built a software company, it was pretty intimidating to me. But I knew I wanted something to do all these things for me. So
Yeah.
one thing I want to come out of the gate and say is like, be curious about it. Try it out. You don't have to get in bed with something and just stay there. Like, check it out, use it a little bit. If you got a free trial or they have, a free version that you can use at any technology company, get in there and get your feet wet. I mean, Daniel, I'm going to pick on you for a second. Is that how you go? When you want something done, you just start searching and try things out?
Well, yeah. So uh, when the whole Teams thing, I think we're like one of the smaller companies to use it, right? Because I seen it, and then it's like, all right, this can do this, and then that's what I did. I looked at what we already had, so we're already using the Microsoft platform, and Teams was included because they're just trying to get it into companies' hands. So I'm like, start messing around with it, and then I start asking other people, hey, do you guys use this? And they're like, yeah, and it's like huge companies, it's world. Some of the people that I was talking to are work for worldwide companies. And it's like, yeah, this is what we use, and it's like, all right, how do you use this? Talk to another person, how do you use this? And then it's like taking bits and pieces from everyone just to kind of put it together what we'd be able to use it for. And
Yeah.
it's really one of those things that you don't know until you start using it. It's almost like if you put it in terms of just like actually getting hands on with material, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna know until you start putting your hands on it. Like you can read as much as you want about it. It's not until you actually start using it that it's like, hey, this is actually really nice. Or we also had software where it's like, there's got to be something better. Like this is just not it.
Yeah, I that's how I do it. I mean, it's the same thing. I just want to try. Let me get in there, figure out what's really hard, what's really good. Frankly, a lot of it, different work order systems we'd used, um, just lacked in a lot of the things in Go Carrera, and the reason we started developing that. Of course, all the labor side of it we've talked about before, but from a technology piece, being able to shoot work orders to geographic locations and have installers in that area be able to respond just from a technology standpoint, it sounds really awesome. Like to be able to do that. And you just got to try things out. A lot of the work order systems that we had used before, and frankly, we went from paper to trying to find something that was gonna, we had a problem with our guys losing their paperwork. That was really the first problem we had that made us want to start looking for something digital. And we found a lot of uh, those different software products lacking. But here's the key: we found a lot of the really great stuff that it did too, and it changed the way we would use just the great parts of it, and it really changed the way that um, we looked at it. And I say that, and what I mean by that is it wasn't so scary, right? It got us used to just trying things. Just try something. Like you're not going to end the world. Just give it a
Yeah.
shot. Technology's not scary. Just jump in, like you said, that you do with flooring products. Give it a shot. Try it in an area or in a situation that's not going to be super detrimental, and you might just find that you found some really cool pieces of that. Because I'm sure you don't use every single piece of Teams, right? But you
No,
use the
No,
stuff that
not even
really
no.
works,
close. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You use what really works for your firm. Uh, Same with Go Carrera. Some people just use it every once in a while when they need an installer and they look at it as a labor platform. Some companies use it full bore, like they want the whole process because they can use it front to back, from creating a work order to processing payment and gaining lien releases. There's you don't have to do everything with the software. That's one thing that was really intimidating for me in the beginning, is like if you looked at a list of things that this software does, you're like, shit, I don't need all that, and that's a lot of work and it
Yeah.
seems hard. Jump in, find the things that work really well for your company like you guys did. It's so admirable that you
And
guys do that kind of
and
thing.
honestly, you said something right there. It's going to be hard, and it
Oh,
is going to be hard. But once you have these things set up, it becomes so much easier. Like I don't know where we'd be right now if we didn't have projects organized. Like, let me go check this project out. This was sent on this day, and then we've run into situations where people are like, you guys never talked about this. No one ever told us this. And you go into Teams and it's like, yeah, my employee told you on this day that this was going to happen. And it's like a no brainer. anymore. It's everything is so organized that
In comparison, it's
yeah,
organized, right? And it can get better, and it's going to get better, and I know that. And you know, coming from someone who never embraced technology to where I am now, I'm ready to change the platform that we created because I have in my brain better ways to do it now. I'm just ready to change it up. So, but I'm not
Well,
going
that's
to.
another that right there is another good point for somebody who I know you're technical. It's not like you're ignorant to any of these things, but you're you you get to understand a lot of this software rhymes the way it works, right? It starts to rhyme, and you start to see some similarities in the way things move down through the path,
Yes.
a workflow. That's why you can look at it and say, "Hey, I want it to do this, and I'll do this to make it do that." And you can use the and more formulated to your business, whether it's Go Carrera, Teams. Uh, we'll throw out there Floor Cloud just to start. Give a quick introduction on Floor Cloud. Floor Cloud is a mobile site condition reporting technology. So you put their sensors on your job site. You can log into their cloud, and you can see what the ambient temperature is. If you have it Bluetooth to your Wagner meters, you can check your RH from anywhere in the world. Well, anywhere with the internet connection. Um, to clarify, so you know, some people have the Bluetooth. This is an example of the same thing I was just talking about. Some people have it Bluetooth to the Wagner meter. Some just have they want the ambient temperature, and the site readings. The key is doing some of these things and moving, because a little bit of progress can go a long way in how your business performs overall. I know that a lot of people, one of our big things to Go Career that's tough is the adoption of technology from the older installer demographic. They just don't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
And they're somewhat fearful of it. But when we walk them through and get them started, and then they do their first work order and they start using the system, they're like, "Oh, this is easy."
I
that's
know.
And
that's
you
one
start getting,
of one of the guys that we got on it that
Yes.
he was like really against it, and it's like this is what we're using, man. Like either get on board or we're gonna. I told him we're essentially will find someone that will use it, and he was reluctant, but then after the first time he was like, oh, it's actually really streamlined, and then he said you guys are the only company that I do work for now that I don't have to physically go pick up a check.
yeah. How awesome is that? Just giving it a shot, taking that first step, and then break down that fear of technology. If anything in this podcast, I'm hoping to portray to smaller flooring companies and installers is dropping the fear of technology. Like your car, there's not linkages and stuff like that. Well, most cars. I mean, some of the old dudes, they're not giving up their old '57 Chevy.
I
But
wouldn't.
you know what I'm saying? Today's cars, like it's a computer that's reading an algorithm that tells you to the blinker to turn on. It's not mechanical. They give you the idea that it's mechanical by making it click, but
Yeah.
it's not. You turn the wheel. That's the computer telling this to make this happen. And there's linkage involved, I know, but I'm just saying, like, even starting your car, key fobs and all this stuff, like technology is embedded. And when you have to use it, it can be really frustrating. If you choose to use it, it can be much less frustrating. So
Yeah.
choose to give it a shot, guys. Quit being so, and I'm talking to the group that is fearful, obviously.
Yeah.
Don't be fearful of trying to use a new piece of technology. I know that Floor Cloud had some of that reluctancy as well. Like, but once the people are using it, now they're telling other people about it. So it's taking the first step. Ballin knows best. Kim Ballin's,
Hmm.
AI kind of driven Q&A basically, right? Send them a question, they'll give you an answer. Um, that piece, I know that guys are reluctant just to call a phone number and send a text. I've talked to my guys about it. They're starting to understand, like, okay, you don't have to do it on everything. His a little bit new, so there's not as much complexity to it. But as it gets more complex, you know, my preaching, my ploy here is don't be scared to try out those new things. You'll find out that you're going to be more effective. I know you guys have, and I can attest to it in our company. When we started embracing technology, we became more efficient,
Yep.
bar
And
none.
it helps bridge that gap between someone who communicates well and someone who doesn't. And all they have to do is download an app or just get on board, and then there's a central location. And that's across the board, no matter what technology you're using. And I went when I was learning how to use I forget what program, one of the first measure programs we had. I went out of state for a class, and the first one I went to, the gentleman said something to me that kind of I applied to everything. He said, "You already know how to do it in your brain, and you already know how to do it on paper. All we're doing with the computer is transferring what you already know how to do onto this. The only thing you need to learn is how to navigate. And most everything we use now is customizable. So
That's really what I think about when we talk about technology, because you were reluctant at first to actually use one of the measure programs, and we worked a lot with Bob over at Welsh, and he was kind of the same way. And it's like, until you start using it and actually start going through prints and drawing them, you don't realize how much time you can actually save from doing everything like a
yeah.
takeoff on a paper print. Because
Oh man.
think about it in terms of some of these projects that we've been doing, right? It's like I got to price it out with 3 different materials, and in order to get 3 different prints and do
Yeah.
stuff like that, that's craziness. Oh, Paul lost signal. But when we were just the last time we were at CFI convention and talking to Floor Cloud and how they went through their platform and showed us, like, this is a live project right now, and I'm gonna pull it up, and we can see how many different uh, different RH probes that
Yeah.
they had, and this one is reading high, and these ones are all fine, but this is our focus area now. We need to get this one, make sure that this one gets all squared away before this project can go, and to know that you can just go online and say, this one is still not ready. I was supposed to have guys out there in 2 days. They're not going to be out there in 2 days. What do we got to do to remedy this situation?
Yeah. And it's the same thing. Is now you have projects and job sites communicating with you instead of making an hour and a half drive, a 3 hour drive, depending on how large and where the project is located. If you work for companies and you do work for hotel stays a lot, you can monitor that, and say they must not have their windows closed in. This temperature is fluctuating too much, or this RH isn't dissipating. Something else has got to be done. It's good to have all that information before you go there and have to do all the old manual testing prior to getting started. Now you know what to do, what to look for right away.
And that's the thing, right? With talk about battling those best and how that's AI driven. And there was, I think it was about a week ago or so, where one of the companies was using one of those AI platforms to see if there was a better way for them to code or whatever, and they ended up putting in a lot of proprietary information that the company did not want to get out. And that is the thing I think a lot of people are worried about, is because once you do get into some of these platforms and you put your information out, it's out there forever, right? You're never able to get that back. And that's what this company learned, and now they actually banned anyone using the AI platform in their company.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like we're talking about like lines of code that no one else was supposed to know, and now it's out there forever. Now,
Yeah, the code's going to be there. AI is going to retain that information and apply it if someone asks the right series of
yeah,
questions.
and that's the thing. It's good and bad because it's constantly learning by whatever
Is Paul
you're
making it back on?
you're telling it, but at the same time, it's also that information is there forever. So if you're trying to have secrets, that's really not the route to go.
As far as the other technology, and I'm always going to revert back to what I know because it's the only thing that I'm familiar with is the measure programs. We used to call them napkin drawings. People go to the job sites and draw on a napkin or a piece of paper, and then you get that. This fixes that. All you old timers out there, it's just a matter of learning how to navigate the program so that way you can get on I would say paper, but you can get into the system what is in your head already. And the time savings on switching materials to 5 different variations with the click of a button.
Well, just think about in terms of commercial
Hey, you're
projects.
I made it.
In
I
terms
don't know
of
how long. My internet access is pretty sketchy, so hopefully
hey,
I
we filled it in for you.
thank you.
In terms of like commercial projects, you think about it, and sometimes we'll get a bid and it's due in like 3 days, and it's like without some of these programs, it would be impossible.
I wanted to bring up another technologies quickly that I just found out about that we're gonna give a shot. But essentially, you take a picture of a room and you can send it in or you upload it and it'll give you I don't know if you guys have heard of this thing, but it'll actually give you the square footage of the room. Anything you ask for about that room, it'll give you square footage. It needs just a little bit of information. I'm kind of learning. Um, but it takes standard measurements off of like counters and couches, things like this, and it sets the scale and it knows the
The room
camera
scanner,
angle and it does all these algorithms and it what's it called?
room scanner, is that the one you're using? There's a couple of them out there right
Uh
now.
no. Oh, is it I thought it was like if it works and I can do some small jobs, go in and take a picture and get a takeoff, like I'm down. I'm gonna use it. Have you tried it?
I worked with the beta that I have right now, and
They released it.
did they
There we
release
go.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I
Breaking
used
up
it.
again, I guess.
I use it. Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Well, I used at the time it was a beta program, and there's still some glitches in it, right? Like the recognition, like it doesn't recognize some things and it kind of blends shapes together, but I'm sure that they've fixed that if they released it to the public.
So that's the thing. It's they use on the iPhone the lidar to actually it shoots out dots, and that's where they get the measurements and stuff from. So it's the program he's talking about is for iPhones only, which is pretty limited until Android starts implementing the same technology. If they do, did I say Samsung?
No, you said Android.
Okay. If they do at all, but I mean, you're talking, and when I had a meeting at the last Surfaces with one of the manufacturers, and they were gonna start implementing this technology too. And the thought behind it is that you can have, and this was more residentially focused because on commercial projects they're a little bit bigger and different. But it's like, hey, I want this room done. They can take their phone, scan it for you, send it to you. You have all the measurements. You know where the doors are, and the actual rendering that you can make it so that it's like an entire 3D rendering, so you can see exactly what's in the room. You can see the furniture that's in it. You can see what's in the next room. It's I mean, we're talking about technology. This stuff is gonna actually come a long way in the next couple years to
Yeah,
where
that is
you may not have to go
that's
to
freaking
a
cool.
customer's house to even measure. You're gonna have everything, put the product in there, send them the quote.
And I think that that's a question that I had too during that webinar we attended was, will I be able to send out an invite to a client and have them scan their own room, and then they can upload it to my link that I sent them, and then I don't even have to go there.
Speaking about
Yeah.
this, Jeremy says that he can hear you, but I don't. We don't know if anyone can hear Paul. You're doing a lot of freezing. I don't know if you wanted to turn your video off to see if that helps a little bit.
And you're on your laptop too, right?
That's a good idea. I don't Yeah, so I got all kinds of stuff going on over here. Speaking of technology,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, speaking of that,
so um, I don't. You guys hear me better with the video
Yeah.
off?
Yep.
yes, we do.
Oh,
That's a nice picture too, by the way.
well, thank you. Um, so I guess the point that I wanted to really get across, and that I think you guys display, and is I think really important for all of us, is give it a shot. Go Carrera's coming out with Jumpstart. We're just days away from launching that, where companies will be able to hire the new guys coming into the industry from the FCEF and several other of the organizations, be able to hire them and make offers right off of a phone. Um, I know that, like, some of that stuff sounds scary. Some of the stuff you guys do sounds scary, but dropping the fear and being willing to try some new stuff. I think that's like the big message I wanted to get across. Lastly, because we're going to close this thing down a little bit early today, we
Yeah.
had a few pieces of technology we're going to talk about. I want to everybody in our audience. Things with the podcast are going to get a little bit more structured and crisp. We're crispening up the studio back at Go Carrera, just to make the experience a little bit better. We have some sponsors coming on board. It'll be very short. I'm not going to make you guys watch a bunch of ads, but there's going to be some sponsors that I think you want to know about. And then the structure of it all will be a little bit. We want to keep the conversation piece. That's what I love about it. These guys are my friends. On top of doing this stuff, we hang
I love
out.
shooting the shit, man. Love it.
Yeah, so I don't want to lose the conversational piece, but just a little bit more of the a little more scripted from key points that we hit during a topic. And here is my ask of the audience: like and subscribe, continue to watch us, and please give us some ideas on what you would like for us to discuss as a topic. We already have, coming up in 2024, 4 or 5 different guests, and that's just getting going. We're going to have a lot more guests, and we'd love some of our audience to come on and be a guest as well, and at least tell us what you've gotten out of the huddle. We're going to do one of those coming up in the near future. What's the huddle done for me? And, get some of our audience on and discuss some of the stuff that maybe we were able to talk about on the podcast that helped out. I know it's fulfilling for me. That's why I do it. I know none of us get paid to do this. We just get in here and rap about flooring and how to better the industry. So at the end of the day, giving us some suggestions, giving us some love through like and subscribing to our various channels and to PF Flooring's various channels, and being engaged. 2024 is going to be a great year. I'm looking forward to kind of a revamping of the podcast starting then. So I'm going to keep reminding everybody of that as we go each one of our episodes leading up to the end of the year. But I'd like 2024 to have just a bit more structure, a little bit more variance in topics, and more audience participation, along with more guests. And not getting all Joe Rogan on you. We're just trying to stay stay crisp on our messaging while still getting to just hang out and rap a little bit.
Yeah, I like the conversational piece too. I mean, but just like everything that we talk about, a little bit more structure in everything would never hurt, right?
Yep.
Yep.
It's about being efficient, right? And getting to the point and solving issues before they become an issue. Or
Yeah.
solving
So
problems before
ideally,
they become
we're
an
gonna
issue.
keep the podcast closer to about this time, which is about 30 minutes, as opposed to our hour. So that's going to be another big goal, and that's why like keeping on topic with the bullet points and kind of being really crisp with our messaging will help and allow us to still be conversational and get you all the information within 30 minutes. But if it runs over, who cares?
Yeah, half hour 45 is good. But sometimes the
Yeah.
conversation just
Gets away. And some of that's my fault. I do get sidetracked quite a bit, go on tangents in the
oh,
conversation.
Jeremy said that we should do one about what to do when job sites aren't ready.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeremy. Well, I think job site preparedness is a good one.
Yeah, and I just missed the webinar today with FCICA.
Is that what it was
Yeah,
about?
dude. Yeah, I was so
They
bummed out.
FCICA records them though, so you'll be able to watch it
Yeah,
still.
but I like participating and asking questions and just making comments, like poking the bear. I like poking the bear.
Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for everything, and thank you for last week covering for me, and thanks again for today. And hopefully, the
Yes.
audience just like I said, take the first step with technology. Don't be scared. That one thing you've been thinking about trying, go give it a try. And I look forward to hearing some success stories on some of the content we've created here in 2024. And with that, I'm going to let you gentlemen go. To the audience, stay innovative, and
Yes.
let's get ready for an awesome last quarter of this year and a great setup for 2024.
100%.
All right, thanks guys.
Have a good
Yep.
one, man.
See ya.
All right, we'll see you.
Thanks, everyone.